Hello and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. This is Nick, and today I am privileged to bring you another request. This one by Marc von Wilhelm. This is his game called Saint Chicken, and I got to check it out, and it's actually quite cool, so I thought I would show it to you guys, as I often do. So, the basic premise of this one: collect and protect your little ones. And I thought the intro was very cute, actually. That was a very kind of touching introduction to a game. It's very telling. I don't know, it made me wonder if maybe the developer shared some of those same sentiments when he was creating this. But, eating food will spawn extra little fishies which you can carry with you, and pressing spacebar will attract them to you. They have a short life cycle. If you leave them alone, they will get sick and die. But if you attract them back to you, you'll see they go from like a sickly, pale, gray-white to a glowing, vibrant goldfish color, orange. And Saint Chicken has that halo, which I guess helps... Oh, there we go. Helps with revitalizing them. So you gotta make sure that your little guys stay near you, and you've got to finish the level, which basically plays like one big maze. Finish the level with as many of these guys with you as you can, and as you progress there will be more and more challenges to overcome, of course. And it starts out pretty easy, and as most games do, gets quite hard. It's a pretty accessible game. It's not particularly complicated, but I imagine to master it you definitely need to put some time into it. So you'll see his size gets bigger and bigger, and then after a certain amount of food, we get another little guy to bring with us. They get sick very quickly, though. That's the one thing that I've noticed. You have to really be on top of always having them right near you. Although, just seeing them get whitish-gray doesn't mean they're about to die. They have a, like, 30-45 second time range for that. And you can already imagine the strategy, since eating some of the fish pellets will make you larger. There's always certain areas you can't fit through when you're at a certain stage in what you've eaten. So that'll lead to sort of planning out how exactly you need to approach each level. And you have to finish with a certain amount with you to be able to open up each next level. I like the art very much. It's simplistic, but it's very effective. I mean, there's nothing... It's not trying to be flashy, that's the thing. It's kind of just... It's functional, and it's endearing. It's kind of the same way that the title screen and the opening cinematic was. And it's a nice touch that there's a little parallaxing, like, foreground, transparent coral or whatever that you can see through. It gives you a little bit of depth. And you'll see below us our first major impediment here. We've got a electric eel crossing area here. Now whenever I play games like this or Pikmin or Lemmings, any game where you have a certain amount of things you need to protect and make sure they don't get killed, I always get very, like, worried about situations where they all will die. I'm gonna wait for the next eel to go past. I'm gonna play it very carefully because I want to keep all my guppies with me. Keep going. Yeah, and one touch for these guys is instant death for the babies. Come on. Okay, we're safe. First couple times I went through there, I pretty much just smacked the whole crowd of them right into it. And then you get to see all of your babies breaking apart into little bits floating up next to you, and that's just sort of traumatic. Can you tell I'm an animal lover? No, so we're just gonna keep getting some more of these little fish pellets here until we've gotten our maximum number of fishies before we can leave the level. Oh, okay, I made myself too big to fit in there, so I have to go back around. Now you can play this with the mouse or arrow keys. I find the arrow keys seem to work just fine, so I'm using that for now. Hopefully there's not too much click-clacking of the key under my finger as you're listening. That's why I use a headset mic. I find that that tends to work pretty well, so you don't hear too much of the outside stuff, but whenever I'm clicking the mouse, that always seems to show up a little. Am I still too... I'm still too big. Should have planned this out a little better. I hope there's a couple more that I can get, yeah. Okay, now I should be fine to go through there. Obviously, I'm taking an extremely long time to pass through this level. This is, not the hardest level, and, well, it's the first level, so of course it's going to be the easiest. But I'm sure I could get through this in a small fraction of as much time. Thankfully, though, for once, it seems that time is not really an element you have to worry about. Just, how many of these little baby fishies you can get to the goal. And the goal to each level is, one of the lost pieces of aquarium accessories that have fallen to the bottom of the river. So we have to approach the relic to save them. I'd say that was quite successful. That's all the fishies you can get out of that level. And we've got our little hub area that we'll just pass right through. And this level introduces a new element where we can break blocks. The larger we are, the faster the blocks break. So at full size, you'll see the blocks break in one hit. And much smaller, and it takes quite a bit longer. You can get a bit of speed and smash it with your square head. But the goal remains the same. We're still trying to do the same thing as we were in the last level. The art looks primarily the same in this one. I think later on levels, though, do start to change a bit. I only messed around with it for a little bit, but I do want to check out what goes on as you get further into the game. And I'm curious to know what kind of puzzles await. I have noticed a couple of times... Oh, we've got deadly stingrays here. We need to watch out. I don't know where they are, though. What I was going to say, though, I've noticed a few times that the pathing AI on the fish, a lot of times you can tend to get separated from them, and I'm sure that was an intentional part of it. I find that a little bit frustrating at times, especially if they're, like, about to die right next to you and you can't really do anything because they're on the other side of a barricade or something. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's the way the game is. It's just something that I personally find a little frustrating. But it's not enough to make the game frustrating in general. It just happens occasionally. And there's also, like, water currents and stuff to watch out for occasionally. I'm gonna make sure that this stingray gets to go before we move ahead. Is it coming back? I don't know, maybe this one comes back and forth. The eels seem to come from the same direction every time, so I was kind of thinking this would do the same. Oh, there it is. Alright. Now we should be able to trail behind it fairly well, especially knowing how long it took to come back. We've got diverging paths here. Alright. Think we're safe? Hope we're safe. Let's make sure we keep everybody together here. Alright. So far so good. What was up there? I don't know. I'm gonna have to make my way up there. I'm gonna wait for this guy to pass. Thankfully he seems a little bit slow. Okay, don't get too far ahead, guys. Like, overwhelmingly protective of these little fish. Going through these little corridors and picking up these pellets makes me feel a little bit like we're playing Pac-Man. Okay, you'll see what I'm talking about here. See, these guys took it upon themselves to kind of go up. Thankfully I was... Oh. I didn't make it back in time for one of them. Well, that kind of sucks. I was doing so well. I was hoping for a perfect score on this level, so I was playing kind of methodically. Alright, everybody stay together. Oh, and there's the exit for this one. Probably should have been more aware of how many I needed to finish with to open up the next level. I'm pretty sure it was another 20 and we're good. And since I didn't get the perfect score on this one anyway, it really doesn't matter if I go through this right now. See how fast they get sick? You'll notice just a few seconds, they'll start to change color. Especially if I'm moving around, it seems like, since they're not in contact with me, like they're already gray. Well, I don't want to chance killing them by accident. So let's move out to the exit, and I guess we'll do another run of this one later. And that will add another 21 to our total, opening up the third level up at the top there. And that will be the next destination. Very cute level hub, I like it. So, I think that's a nice little preview for Saint Chicken. I will put all the pertinent links in the description below the video, so make sure you head on over and visit and show the developer a little bit of love. It's always good when we can. Spread the word. So thank you for watching another episode of Indie Impressions. Make sure you head on over to the Facebook page, facebook.com/IndieImpression. Leave comments. I post every night's video there. I also have 2 Twitters. My personal one is at RockLeeSmile, and the one for the show is at Indie Impression. Sometimes I mention an S at the end of that. Unfortunately, I ran out of characters. There's no S. And feel free to add me up there and suggest any games that you would like to see me try on the show. Alright, so that'll do it for today's episode, and I will see you tomorrow.